Hey guys, it's Casual Friday, and that means it's Nancy Matz Friday, and today's topic is having a ghost attachment and wondering what it could be. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy Friday, everybody. Aloha Friday, we'll call it. Casual Friday, whatever you want to call it. But happy. Come on. Okay. The buttons aren't working today. How is everybody? Hopefully you're good. Spring? For a lot of you, it's spring. For me, it's hell. It's turning into hell. Every day the temperature goes up. But you know what? We're going to have a hot weekend, but then it's going to go back down into the mid-80s, so I'm happy with that. We're going to hit the 90s this weekend. But, all I see creeping up is finishing my yard work and then hell on earth. All right? Arizona is different. Arizona is a different kind of heat. Nancy lived there. She could vouch for that. Arizona is a different kind of heat than it is here. This is a miserable heat when it hits. Oh, you know what? I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. Maybe more. See how we go. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means we can get to you if you think you might have a paranormal issue. And because California is a huge state, we can't always get to you right away. But we have lovely mediums on staff who can call you and talk to you about what you feel is going on. And in most cases, they can settle things down until we get out there. So that's one plus of utilizing us. Plus, we're good at what we do. Okay, now back to what I was talking about. Anyway, the heat in Sacramento, we have about a month of spring and that's it. At least with Arizona, you know what you're getting. It's either hot or it's not so hot. I mean, you're not going to freeze to death in Arizona. Here you freeze to death. So you go from one extreme to the other. It gets so cold here it can't snow. Okay, so that's our winters. Cold and rainy and windy. And then we have about a month of happiness, like we're having kind of off and on this month, and then boom, it's hell. It's hell. You're looking at anywhere from 91 to 115, 20 to 120 degrees. It's horrible. It's horrible. That's why Arizona to me is a lot more drier. It's hot, but at least you know what you're getting. Here you don't know what you're getting, right? Okay. Anyway, today's show with Nancy Matz. It's Friday, right? We're going to be talking about ghost attachments and knowing what's attached to you. I mean, that's a big issue. You feel like you've got something with you and you just don't know who or what it might be. So we're going to be talking about that kind of thing today. All right. So if you're watching from Facebook today and you like what you hear and you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit that follow button and show me some love. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts, some smileys, things like that. Because what happens is there's an algorithm on Facebook, and in that algorithm, the more happiness, the more hearts and happy stuff that you have, the higher the video will go in the algorithm, which means it reaches a lot of people. Okay, a lot more people. Same thing with YouTube. Show me some love on YouTube. Hit those smiley buttons. Hit those hearts. Hit those thumbs up. Let us know. Even comment. Let us know what you think of the show. Be honest. I can take it. I can take it. But that also helps with the algorithm over on YouTube. Okay, so help us out there. And if you haven't done so already on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. I've got 599 subscribers. I am shooting for 700 by mid next week. Let's see if we can do that. How do you do that? You do that by sharing. So as you're watching us today, I'm here. Hi, Kelly. Hey, Kelly Connie's with us. We haven't seen her in a while. Hello, Kelly. If you're watching today and you have friends you think who would enjoy the show, share with them right away. Okay? Share with them right away. And maybe they'll subscribe. The more the merrier, right? That's what we're looking for. Okay. That being said, I'm going to bring Nancy on in, and we're going to start this chat off. And I've had a grand afternoon. I just got off, and I know Nancy's going to roll her eyes on this one. There's this team of podcasters that I listen to who cover Disneyland and Disney World, and they're very, very thorough with their research. And this is like the 10th week or 15th week they've been covering the Jungle Cruise at both lands. So it's really in-depth, and I'm learning so much. It's so fun to listen to them because they kind of have the kind of rapport that Nancy and I have, where they go back and forth, and it's really funny, So, all right, let me bring Nancy in without further ado. See, I've got my Aloha on today, so we're rolling right along. Here we go.
I missed what the name of the group is. You said you had a couple you listened to?
Yeah, there's a couple I listened to. Her name is Disney Cicerone, and his name is Walrus Carp Clothing,
And the
and
name
that's what
of
they go by. And they don't name their show; it's just something they do every Friday, and they're both very thorough in their research, and it's fascinating because they talk about every ride at the park, all the parks, all the main real popular rides, and they know all the ins and outs because
we're talking Disneyland again.
it's really cool because I mean, like I learned so much today about the Jungle Cruise. So,
Oh,
so
Jungle Cruise. That's the word I
but they're
couldn't
just
hear the word.
they're just fun to listen to because they're like us. They go back and forth, and so it's
Yeah.
fun.
But we got
It's fun.
25 years or 26,
Yeah,
27 years.
it's a long time.
It's a long
A lot of
time.
lot of
We've
changes, lot of things. I
a
got the
lot
light
of
of God
change.
on tonight too,
Pardon me?
because that other light I had died, and so I never got a light replacement. But I had that little mini light I use on my phone for TikTok
Okay.
when I'm out in the field. I call it the light of God because it's so bright. So it's off to it's off to my left. That's why you can see the back a lot better. But it's called the light of God, and that's the low
My
setting. So
my
it's
lighting is changing here too. I put a solar light kind of like on
cool.
one side, and it's better than the ones that you get the round. But anyway, to get going on this, I have a pretty
Yes,
complex topic tonight, everybody, and
let's
I'm
do
going to
it.
start out lighter, and then I'm going to go difficult. And so with that, well, Shar and I have talked to possessions and ghost investigations, and a lot of times the comments are, we don't want to bring somebody home with us. And
Mhm.
so there's a fine line of doing an investigation, figuring out who's there, what's there, and then determining that you haven't got it mad, it's going to follow you, or you're
Right.
too sympathetic and too nice, and they go, oh, let's follow them home. And it has a lot to do with how you as a human being react to the world. If you go there sick, or you've been emotionally beat up by a partner, or you just got fired, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go somewhere where there's emotionally ill people. So the title tonight, what is attached to you? I'd like to add the word possessing you, because
Mhm.
that goes hand in hand. You can have an attachment that likes you so much, they just want to be part of you, and they just
Mhm.
move right in. And I'm going to bring a couple up that Karen Rossing and I are putting a book together. And life is difficult. She's had some family issues. I did. I have illness, and now other things are happening. So we are going to get to it. We're going to finish it, long as with everything I've done with Shar, I will compile it and put it in a book too. So it's kind of a good year for putting that knowledge together. Um, and Karen and I are putting this book together of all the clients of the ones that we've discussed together. And we might be up to 36 or 37, because in the last few weeks we had one or two more, two, I think. And it's absolutely astounding to me, the configurations and the situations that we humans put ourselves into to even allow a spirit to become part of us. As many people as you can think of this second that are a little off the rocker, a little need some more meds than they've been taking. Really
Maybe
happy.
too on there, Tim. Yeah.
Did I word that good? Who maybe you remember you said some in the family, they died, and I was glad about it because they were just, excuse me, blank blank people.
Right. Right.
They, yeah, right. And so yes, family show, everybody. I'm trying to make it family here. As you are, you may come go into spirit being that kind of person. And you never know for sure how you really are until you put under stress. And a lot of times stress cracks us. And there's a lot of institutions and facilities for people to recover from life's tribulations. And what if they pass away in the midst of it? What is sanity? What is neediness? What is abuse? What is trauma? And all those things add up on our person. And as you are as a person, how you deal with it is a reason we've come to planet Earth, or I'll word it differently, to a flesh existence, because we're not the only one. Everybody knows that, right? By the time we start admitting to that, there's other planetary systems with other life forms. And you go, well, how
Mhm.
come you're speaking of the A word and spirit? And the thing is that as a spirit person, and we haven't even talked about these things. Oh my gosh. If I told you the stories, we'll do it sometime, Shar. we'll do it sometime. Talk about the spirits that have passed over and they're talking to me. This young man, Susan and Jason, I'm going to put a whole book together. I mean, I got 9 so far and a couple others I just thought of. Jason was a lovely young man that got killed by a drunk driver. And I actually grieved. So I was entertained on a cruise ship when this all happened. I come back and this message on my phone broke my heart. It was October 20th or 22nd of, oh my gosh, 92, I think it was, when Jason got hit by a drunk driver. And after a while, one day she comes to my home and she says, "You got to find that Jason." Why, what's wrong? Well, he won't come. I've been calling him and he's so good most of the time. I can feel him. I thought to myself, oh my God, I hope I get him. If I can't get him, I'm in trouble. Like, where is he? And I sat down and I tried to put my mind to him. And he says, "Tell my mother to leave me alone." You go, oh my gosh, where are you, Jason? And I've told this before. And sometimes I have to be careful. I do repeat, but I don't always have permission to talk about the ones that are really juicy. So
Mhm.
Karen and I'll talk. And he was a bigger boy. He was 17, 6 foot, husky, and he was pretending to be Superman. I'll put my arm. Can I get my notes here out of the way so I can see? I don't want to embarrass myself. Um, Superman, ba-bum, ba-bum, and he was in the cosmos somewhere. How do I even connect to somebody? Well, you can do that because she was thinking of him, but he was ignoring her. So I
Mhm.
followed her life force to him, and there's no space, time, and distance when you're talking about spirit people. I have clients all over the planet, and they talk about family members as spirit kind, and I instantly go to them after so many years. Your switches are looser, not
Mhm.
loose, but tangible where you can move quickly. And so I do. And he was, "Dun, dun, dun, I'm in space." I go, Where are you?" He says, "Look at me, look around me." And he let me see the cosmos where he was.
Mhm.
And I was aghast because the colors that we see from Hubble aren't as clear and pretty as what is out there. And he was visiting other planetary systems. I'd never seen that before. It's almost like the first time. Oh, I'm bringing up a book, Out on a Limb by Shirley MacLaine. And in that book was the first time that what I was doing, someone actually said. So she says, I was sitting in another Peru, Central America, somewhere, and I was on a spot on top of a mountain. All of a sudden, I lifted myself out of the body into the cosmos and could look down on the planet. Well, I've been doing that for a while, everybody. And I read that and I go, oh, that's what I'm doing. And so when I do meditate, when I sit down and meditate, which is never, hardly ever, I could just pop myself on my body very easily. Boop, I'm gone. Come out right on my shoulders. And I can get into the cosmos. So one of my meditations, and I'm going to appoint everybody really, uh, the meditation, I say to people, okay, why don't you relax? And then I step them out of our bodies into the hemisphere, into the outer, past the moon. And at some point, I get them so far out and I say, try to find you on the planet. I can't. Well, then I say, and how big is your problem? You can't see the planet. You can't see you. Well, then your problem is not very big. And
Mhm.
so when we leave our body, I've had people say, oh, that silver cord is following you everywhere. Well, I've looked there and I can't see no silver cord. Shirley MacLaine, I think, could. And I've been out and about. And I think that if there is, it's so small, I'm fine, like a hair width, that we can't see it. I don't know. But I've never had trouble getting back to my body. Except for that one time I fell out into, Shar and I talked about parallel universe, fell out of my body. I was packing one summer into that strange place. And that was the only time I worried. I thought, am I here permanent? That would not be a nice place to be. But when I left my body, and when I do this, that's what Jason was doing. He was visiting cosmos, but it was no link to the planet other than what his mother. And I said, just
Mhm.
check with your mom once in a while. And as in dreams may come, can come, but dreams may come, I think it's called.
Right. Yeah.
When, right, you, in that movie, all the people on the planet, it was such a beautiful movie. I recommend it to everybody how he travels. Well, the point was is that as you think of somebody, as we think of my mom who left in '09, she can hear and she can pop in that fast, no matter where in the cosmos or time she is. Now, when we talk about leaving our body, I'm going to bring this up. When we want to go back, is there someone there? Are you checking? When my mother comes to visit, does she become part of me? Oh, I love you, Nancy. You have so much fun doing this. Well, can she stay? So I want to bring up a couple things. And last week, I told everybody I had tried to find a movie called Down a Dark Hall 2020. And when I found it, it was a rent or buy. And I think just recently they changed the status of that. Down a Dark Hall talks of possession. It is really good. And it talks of one of the things that concerns people. And so everybody knows I had cancer, got divorced, changed the career. I also, during the cancer, had appendicitis attack. And I got myself to the hospital, called my husband up. By the way, I'm in the hospital. What? So they didn't take it out because they didn't want, I had had two surgeries. I was going in for another one within 2 weeks. But while I was there was two or three of us at one end. At the other end was a young woman who was crying and calling all her family. And it was quite late at night. It was quite a lot of drama. I was very
Mhm.
upset. And she'd been given a 2 week notice that she was going to die in 2 weeks. And
Wow.
she was calling people to say that. And another friend of mine, Donna Vasquez, died in 2001. And she says, when you were in the hospital, she didn't know I was in for appendicitis also, as well as cancer. She said, was there anybody dying near you? Yes, there was. And she said to me, that woman was very intuitive. And you and her at night talked, and she gave you more abilities or taught you something. And I never could understand that because I look back and I never felt her with me. I never learned her name. I don't know how we can share. But how many of you have heard on YouTube? And I think it was on Ancient Aliens also of a young, older woman. She died in 85. I don't know. She was an Egyptian expert. As a child, she fell down some stairs and knocked herself out, and everybody thought she was going to die. They put her to bed, and she woke up all happy. And it wasn't the girl that fell down the stairs. It was another girl that talked about her life in Egypt. And she
Hmm.
became an absolute world expert. You know who I'm talking about, Shar? These names
Yeah.
escape me because she did change her name. And she believed that she lived in the time of Seti. Now, what do we call that? Do we call that an attachment? Do we call that a walk in? Do we take a possession all over her? Where is the little girl? What happened to her? So we have some questions that can come up. And or was this a past life? That was the other thing. My nose itches. Or was it a past life that was remembered and brought completely forward, and now she's reliving that life in this time frame? It conjures up all kinds of ideas. And when I was writing this up the last few days, um, I thought this is such a big topic. And when we think about it, a lot of people put just a light, oh, attachment. What are you talking about? You know, how many people have felt their cat and dog? Larry and I, we lived in Tucson for a while, and we lived in a house that had a little black a dog. We thought it was a cat. And Larry would be watching TV, and this animal, small animal, would jump up in the back of the couch and traps back and forth. And Larry go, they must have had a cat. We found it was a little chihuahua that had passed away. And evidently, they had the couch had been in the same place. And it was the first time we were amazed that this little person, little animal was still there, let alone that it was keeping Larry company. But as I told you, where we live now, we have a gentleman that Larry can hear all the time. And he doesn't have we have his name. I don't know if I should say it. Better not tonight. Anyway, Larry says he has a heavy foot. And he can tell the difference between the man's spouse, who also comes and goes. She must have a
Mhm.
very petite little foot and big foot. In fact, one night he gave him, calls me up, he says, I'm going to give him a drink. Oh, you are Friday night fights, you know? So he put a drink at the end of the couch and he could see the guy sit down. I mean, come on, really? I don't think he's going to attach himself to my husband, but it's amazing that there is survival and there's healthy spirits and there's unhealthy spirits. And then there are insane spirits.
Mhm.
The healthy spirits, of course, are cat and dogs, right? And we can have them around us all the time. So get on there and see down a dark hall. And there are some the actors you'll recognize the names. I'm trying not to get all that stuff in my head. I have enough to do.
Real
Karen,
quick. real quick, going back to what you talked about in the beginning about how you pick these things up. As a ghost hunter, as a rule with the ghost team, and I see I see Jerry's out there and Susan's out there. One of the rules we have for paranormal investigating is if you're not feeling well,
Oh yeah.
if you're pregnant, or there's some huge medical thing going on with you, you shouldn't come out because you're weakened at that point, and you're more susceptible to picking something up, whether it's happy or negative. You're more susceptible.
I
So
can't
that's one of
even
the golden
I can't
rules.
even put together the thoughts in my mind about someone being pregnant. Who are you having that soul that was around you, or are you having the soul of the child that was there?
Right,
That
right.
sometimes the child soul, I felt the child, the soul before the woman gets pregnant, and many times the
Hmm.
people have called. I said, "Well, the soul's with you now," but that doesn't mean it joins early. Could join late. What happened? Oh, I don't even want to think about that. That's a
I
topic I can't do tonight. I'm going to go
You know
somewhere
what?
else with that.
That kind of leads into another topic. That we can do
What?
because I have a friend who dreamt of two of her children that she had before she had them.
Right. Hmm.
So she knew exactly what the child was going to look like and everything because they came to her in a dream. Now, whether it was a
Wow.
past life thing or something when they came to her, she knew exactly what the child was going to look like.
Isn't that
Back then, I wasn't into this, so I thought it was hilarious. I just thought,
I
okay,
knew the day next day that I was pregnant. Told my husband, my first husband, that
uh-huh.
we were pregnant, and it was the next morning. And I knew the sex. And in those years, everybody I'm old, we didn't have sonograms. We had no idea. In fact, the first child was meant to be a boy, and when the shower, no girl things, it was a
Right,
it was a girl. She came out a girl. And I knew all the while. It was amazing. I want to get to my notes. I have a lot of information.
go
So
for it.
Karen and I are writing this book. Yeah. Okay. Spirit attachments. And we talk about spirit, animal, and alien attachments. I have shared with you of the lady you heard about some kittens. So
Hmm.
Karen calls me up about this lady, and I've already told you I'm going to go brief. Not everybody listens to every 51, 52 shows I've had here. Um, and she said, I can't sleep at night. I lay on my back and there's rumblings. I go, rumblings. Everybody's got rumblings, honey. Anyway, when I put my mind to her, I saw three kittens and they were tumbling in her tummy. So my friend Karen said, you're kidding. Really? And I go, people say to me, how can you see this? How do you do remote viewing? And when I've done readings in like groups, StreamYard or Zoom. Zoom is the group platform I use. People say, how do you do that? And I always say, it's there or it's not there. You have to relax and allow yourself to see what is there. And when I do that, I put no ego in the way. It's right there. So, and I said to her, you need to talk to this lady and ask her if she's involved with kittens lately. She calls me back screaming to the phone. She said that a friend of hers had found some kittens and a mama on the side of the road, and they were in very, very poor shape. And this woman, as us moms are, I tell you, I have great grandbabies that are the cutest things in the whole 47 now. And you just want to squeeze them. They're just kiss them up. Mother's Day, a lot of fun. I tell you, seeing these little girls. And so we have that mother instinct of sort of keeping safe younger kids and babies and kittens.
Oh,
Anyway, this
we
woman
do.
just grieved terrible. She knew they were going to die and she just wanted to hold them. And you can visualize someone in a kind of cross-legged on the floor, just holding kittens. She just wanted them to live so badly and they all died. She wanted to protect them to the point of wishing them inside of her. She did not have an attachment. She had somewhere between a possession, an attachment. They became part of her because she wanted to protect them. And when Karen said, you won't believe what Nancy just had, and she says, you're kidding. Did you tell her? I said, no, I didn't know anything. And when someone hears something like that, it's like, can you believe it anyway? And a lot of us, including myself, up to maybe 20 years ago, I had a hard time. I've seen spirit people all the place. I couldn't believe that we really survived this mess. This is temporary. There is a life beyond this. And when I talk of cats and dogs visiting you, or the feeling of mom and dad coming around, people just take it at face value. They don't apply it to their own existence. Hold on, everybody. Mm. Boy, allergies, everybody. I'm trying not to take too many meds here. So I wanted to. So the woman had got counsel from Karen, and she did release them, and that's what her job is. I'm the one that finds out this kind of information. Um, Not a possession. Kittens did not take over. She invited them to protect them.
Mhm.
This is one of my favorite ones, but it kind of grosses me out. There's a couple here you're going to go, ugh.
It's not
Karen called
bizarre to
me up.
me. Real quick, it's not bizarre to me. I had an investigation, and this is kind of off topic, but it's kind of on topic because people always wonder what they're
Yeah.
talking to when they're out on out on these things.
Yeah.
And this woman had this cat, and I guess they were upstairs doing an EVP session. The team was, and they picked up this little voice
Oh.
because we were trying to find out why there was why there were things being knocked over, and all this was
Uh,
going on in this house. And I still have this EVP. It's a Class A, and it's a little voice.
mm.
It almost sounds like a little girl, and it says, "I just wanted some attention."
Oh, well,
And when
I'm
I
going to be
heard it,
talking about that.
the first thing I thought of was, "It's the cat." And my
Oh,
investigators went, "Oh no!" You know, my debunkers right away. "Oh no, 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 no! It's not the cat." But if you'd have heard it, it sounded like you would think a cat would sound. I just wanted some attention, like that, almost like a fairy, like a fairy would say.
you'd be surprised the number of times spirit peoples have told me they don't want to be forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I have someone in my family who's been showing up for the last 15 years. She wants me to find her grave, and I've got to do this. And they don't want to be forgotten. And
Right.
I've mentioned her a couple times on the shows. And um, the cat, we have two cats, and they're always wanting attention. They always want to
Mm-hmm.
be paid attention to. A little
Mm-hmm.
little needy, but if you're going to love them, you got to keep it up for their whole life.
Oh yeah.
This is not the only one that I'm going to talk. I won't bring others up, but this is not the only one that actually had an alien attachment, not a
Okay.
possession. There is a difference. And when I talk to somebody about this, we vibrate. Everything has a song to it. If you can remember a tune, a song, if we could put a vibration, I resonate at this level. Everything in the universe, spirit people told me once that the music of the universe is what holds it together. And I had to think about that. And I guess there's a point that if you're emotionally healthy and grounded and you're okay with yourself, life is so hard, everybody. And what does it do to our vibration? And if we're not in a good space, our vibration gets off, then we get ill. We have strokes, heart attacks because we break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is true. So, what would make us different than any other life form have to be the same as us? I don't know. A silicon life force like was on Star Trek at one time, the old series.
Is
Um,
that why?
I
Real
d-
quick. Is that why when I feel spirit kind, when I'm on an investigation, I feel them as a tingling in my arms.
uh-huh,
That's how
uh-huh.
I feel them, and I could tell if it's a male because the male tingle is heavier than a female. Is that
Um,
vibration?
yep. Uh, I'm trying to think. There was a gal that wrote a book
Right.
on Embraced by the Light. I think it was. She's Indian. She had wore Indian costumes a lot. Eddie, I think her name was. I'm not sure. She told of spirit kind in heaven and that there's a definition of male and female.
Mm-hmm.
That is representative of their last life. You and I have seen myself as a male a couple of times, women as a
Mm-hmm.
couple of times. But if someone said to me, how do you feel dominant? I would say male, only because I'm a strong personality. I like what I do, marketing business. I did college. I was going to be a teacher. I didn't go that way, but teaching is something I do every day, like this. Um, and so, a strong personality, people can see me as a male, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it depends, I think, on the last life they have. I do not think a soul is one or the other. Absolutely not. It's a soul, blank slate. Every time you have a life, no matter where it is, what planet you're on. I've heard over and over and over, the toughest one to kind of have an existence is Earth. Envision mud.
Hmm.
We live on a planet of hard life mud. I don't like that look, but if anybody's stuck their feet in the mud and pulled out a sock on a shoe is stuck in the, all you pull out was your foot with a sock on it. That's our life. It's really hard.
Well,
It is an experience.
there's a lot of religions that feel that this is our that we're in hell. That this is it. This is what it is. And then once we leave here is where we're at happiness. Because I've heard that, like, I don't know, from different people. You know, where they
Depends on
feel
your
that
emotional health.
this is where we're paying penance here.
I'm not going to argue with anybody. I'll never
Hmm.
disagree with somebody. I have
Hmm.
my own thoughts, but why would I ever say no to that? Because that's the truth that somebody else has.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so, what dreams may come with Robin Williams is
Go
what
ahead.
I see and been shown of people
Hmm.
who are in purgatory. It's not a location; it's an ideology bubble. So, at the end of the movie, he finds his wife who committed suicide. Um, I'm sorry, everybody. I still
I
don't know
know we
how to
got
take
thrown
out
off. I'm
pop
sorry.
ups.
I do it to you all the time.
What?
Throw you
Pop
off.
ups?
Sorry.
That wasn't you, hon. It was the pop ups, and I
The
trying to
other
figure out how
thing
to get.
that I've heard too is that you talk about that what you're talking about right now, and I've also heard with people that don't find God or don't accept God, they're the ones that end up in that kind of hollow purgatory area.
I
Until
can't
they
answer.
accept God, they can't move on.
Mem,
Again, you can't answer it, and I can't answer it either. But like I'm like you. Who am I to say it's not right if that's what you believe? That's your belief.
so I did a meditation early in the 90s, early 90s, 91, 92.
Hmm.
And it was one of those in the beginning when you try a new, oh, let's try this. And all of a sudden, like a firecracker, you just flare out. And
Hmm.
I was literally picked up on my body. And these two great big beings picked me up out of my spirit, I guess, took me to the middle of the universe and showed me what they call God. And I took it to be a force, FORCE.
Hmm.
And the force be with you is as good as the God is with you. To me, it's a force and it's a
Right.
dominant domino controlling a time kind of a thing. If there's a entity in the middle of this mass of light, I wouldn't know that. But every culture has a different definition of God.
Hmm.
Of their deities are all different, and some don't have a God. They just pray to something that you and I wouldn't even recognize, but they
Hmm.
have in their mind a divine, the divine entity. He, she, the diva, the
Hmm.
force be with you, however you want to call it. I feel like there's something. An atheist who've passed over come back and tell him I was wrong.
Hmm.
And in Professor Gary Swartz, I did tell him of a story what happened to me. And he looked at me blankly. He says, "Oh my gosh." I said, "What?" He said, he tested like 13 of us that show, and now he talks about us in his books. And he said two other ladies had the same atheist come to them and tell them to give a message to Professor Gary Swartz that he was wrong. And so there has to be some truth to the bigger story. I
Hmm.
got to get back on my notes, everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Sorry. And I have
this
another
is
story that I can add to that, but go ahead.
yeah. I need to. I got so much here. I got to get going here.
Because there
So
was
the
this
one I
atheist who drowned. Just real quick,
pardon
this
me,
atheist who drowned. This atheist who drowned,
and you're going to tell it anyway.
and yeah, and he claims that he went to hell. That's what they showed him was hell.
That was
And
his
then
vision.
that was
Hmm.
his vision. And then when he came out, he was a believer because that converted him. That made him believe that there was something, beyond
Yeah.
this. So that's what I
What
heard.
you see in the afterlife is is designed for you.
Mhm.
Like my vision of what I will see first is a meadow
Mhm.
uh, where I've lived, and that will be my heaven because that's what I like. And a lot of people have different. You have different religious groups that will see their deity or the Christ figure or something else. And
Right.
so that's the same as hell. You will go and see what you've been raised to believe. Okay, so what I was getting at, 'cause different planetary
Yeah.
systems, there we're not the only one. 14 billion years, we've had a lot of people come and go on our planet. Three civilizations I can think of, but all other planetary systems have their own unique peopleage, and So this woman came to Karen, and Karen called me up, and I says, she doesn't tell me anything. Sometimes she'll give me a first name just so I can have involved in this video. And I said,
Uh-oh.
but it was pink. They was everybody. Okay, I don't know if
Oh, you're real
uh,
choppy. You're real
okay,
choppy. You
tell
might
me
want to
what.
go out and come back in.
Well, it's circling like you just did. I don't know how to. Okay, so there I am. It was a big alien, and it looked like a starfish, but it wasn't. When you get up close to a pig and it's that fleshy look, this is what this looked like. Trouble
Hmm.
connecting. This is often because of so there's a lot TV on. Anyway, it was a big wavy arm like a starfish, and it was going like this on her back, bigger than her, like this big. And of course, I start screaming, yelling at, "Oh my God, Karen, she's got this great big thing on his back, and his arms are waving like this, and it's hairless and it's textured like a pig's skin." It was like, holy tomatoes, or a hairless cat, like that look.
Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
that's how I knew it wasn't a starfish. And I put my mind to the woman because I was given her name, and I wrote up today what I had got. I remember getting. I would say she had identity issues and felt she did not belong here. Out of place, out of time. I've talked about that. We could do a show on that. And her vibration was disrupted, allowing this alien spirit to find a nest for itself, continuing human alien attachment to happen. This is an attachment. This did not want to go into her, but it found somebody it could attach to vibrationally. And so, what I picked up from this is that she wanted to be somewhere else. She didn't want to be on this planet. And so, this alien felt that vibration of not belonging because somehow it ended up here and
Hmm.
it felt a similar vibration. Now, how do you get that off? Well, that was up to Karen. And I just felt like the out of place, out of time, which I've talked to you about before, everybody, about I also feel that. And now I've come to have an idea that us who are very intuitive, whether you believe in it or you want to or not, we're feeling past life
Hmm.
and future life existences. It could be that 300 years in the future, she reads up on me, not knowing I'm her. And so she's hooked into me, and I may be feeling her, and I
Hmm.
see where she lives in the future. Not that being a woman is any different. She's tall and light haired, but the living quarters is inside a mountain and it's glass in the front, and I can see cars flying. So is it that I'm part of her and she's thinking of me?
Hmm.
Or is she thinking of me in the past? Or am I in a past life as a Frenchman that I saw once before and I told you guys about? So out of place, out of time is perfect. This woman felt like she did not belong here. Of the years I've been doing this, only three people did I believe were never been born before. Three times. Mother, daughter, and a lady in Placerville. And if you hear this, please give me a call. I'd like to know how you're doing your life. And these people were celestial beings. Mother, daughter came together, gave each other support. And the lady, who's involved with a lot of family, a lot of kids all around all the time, organizations. So she joined to do what she needed to do. So it's very amazing. The rest of us all sloppy slobs. I've been here many, many times until we get it right. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I like life. I almost lost it. Karen also excuse me. Karen also presented a woman with issues and wanted me to clarify or help identify what issues were. I want to be careful not to say too much of this particular situation. This is an animal. This is a strong woman. Um, so you tell me, is this possession or was this invited? She was a bigger woman, not a 5 foot, little bit bigger woman, and slithering through her body, not on the outside, but in her core, was a large snake.
Whoa.
It was going around her body, in and around, just continue. If I had a snake slithering through me, what would it feel like? So I spent a few minutes today recapturing what I had told her. And what's odd with me is I'm going to go back over years and present shorts or little snippets on my website eventually. So you
Hmm.
guys make sure you keep in touch with me. Slithering through her body was a large snake. I was taken back and theorized that she had multiple organ issues, undefined pain, and discomfort. She had a long pattern of body dysmorphic issues and needs someone to help her. Client unknowingly was seeking out professional mental and medical care without addressing her true adulthood issues. So when she came to Karen, she had used up all her ideas. The snake was still part of her. So if you have a body dysmorphic issue, meaning you don't like the way you look, uh, you could change everything, but you never feel right. And that has nothing
Hmm.
to do with gay, trans. It just feels like something is wrong with you. A lot of these people are anorexic, exercise too much, or they're bulimic, or things like that. They don't feel their body is right. There's actually a condition that people can have where they see themselves as dead, which is absolutely amazing. Another one is people who believe their limb is a foreign object needing to come off. And these people have actually had amputations done to get rid of that body part that's
Hmm.
not theirs. So the body dysmorphic issue is very widespread and bigger than we've ever. And she had that. She didn't believe herself to be human. She didn't believe herself to want to be here, like the alien attachment. So when we talk about these things, you guys are going, ugh, she's making this up. You know what? These stories are so amazing. I not after all these, yes, I like to write and I'm a storyteller. I can't make up these stories, everybody. It's impossible. Who would have think of a snake? A hello, and it wasn't a little one. It was a big snake. She allowed it freedom and power to overtake her. And so if you have a snake going through your body parts, can you imagine what she must have been feeling? Oh, tomatoes here. Oh, movie Down a Dark Hall, full possession and eventually complete takeover. I suggest you watch it. And there's a point when you go, is this an attachment that allows me to channel music from a well known deceased music performer or a wonderful poet? Or am I good at math and physics because I'm channeling somebody else? Or is that person taking over and taking control of your body and arm and you just let it flow through you? Are you a channel, possessed, or attachment? Hmm. I love that idea. So I want you to see the movie. I hope it's not a buy because the last time I checked, it was free. So do Google that. I'm forgetting what year it was. Um, 10, I just don't know. Down a Dark Hall. There are those who claim to have all this music and everything from deceased artisans. I just said that. The other one I want to talk about is the idea of walk ins, possessions, or attachments. A walk in is a walk in isn't necessarily a possession because, honey, you're not home anymore. And I believe that little girl that fell down the stairs, the person that was there, that was her time to leave. Her body was available. Did a spirit that was the woman in Egyptian, old Egyptian, working part of the Seth dynasty, did that
Hmm.
one come forward from past life, or was that spirit floating around looking for an opportunity? We'll never know those stories. But it was not attachment, it was a complete takeover. An attachment, you are still a, a willing host on some level because you're not trying to knock the person off. This was a complete, total possession or a walk in. That became very popular in the early 90s when I started with Spirit of Grace May 4th, 1990. It was 91, 92 when I heard about a lady in Rockland who believed in walk ins. And I did already talk about her. The woman I'm talking about, whether she's English or American, I forgot that. I didn't have a lot of time to look her up. She actually left and went to Egypt, found a gentleman there, married, um, changed her name to the Egyptian she once was, became an expert on reading the hieroglyphics, and she actually discovered buried tombs and artifacts and cities. I actually see myself in a past life as a woman, and I believe I was part of SETI's group also, which I found kind of
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Okay, I want to go to a place. Oops, got to go faster, everybody. I want to go to a place of combining. This addresses the issue of a combined two spirits in one human form or a complete takeover. I believe she was taken over. Whether she was um, a walk in, we'll never know because she had passed away 10, 15 years ago. What are
Down in Dark Hall is free on Freeview TV. If you have a
okay?
Roku, you can find it on Freeview TV.
What about YouTube?
No, it says
I
buy it as a download on Apple TV, Amazon Video, Google Play, Movies, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft Store, Redbox, DirecTV. So it's only free on Freeview TV.
I'm sorry about that. I thought it was free. Um,
So,
now, why don't you let me
go ahead.
get through this? I want to talk about very the dark side of all this. It wasn't dark enough. I'm gonna make it darker,
The snake
everybody.
did it. Yeah. Go ahead.
The snake wasn't dark enough, everybody. Well, I want to talk about darker. For this section, I want to obtain a little more information and using my own language discuss the below. I kind of skirted around. I don't like repeating word for word what I hear on YouTube.
Mhm.
I just wanted um, a flow. And I did find a couple places, and one was talking about Encyclopedia of Religion. I'd actually heard of that before, and I was able to get a PDF of it. And this person did suggest something. So these are my words because I've talked about it for so long, and I don't want to take from somebody without giving credit, and I didn't have enough time to put it all together. Spirit possession may be broadly defined as any altered or unusual state of consciousness and allied behavior that is influence of an alien spirit, demon, or deity. So when we have spirit possession, different than attachment, and I'm going to explain this to you. When you have an attachment, I might have mentioned before the woman that Karen had come to visit. When she was talking to her, she got some information. She said, Nancy, I'd like you to tell me about her because it could be difficult. And I said, she
Mhm.
feels like a larger lady, taller, and it feels like she's becoming a man. You may see her in a suit and a man's haircut. I said, on her back, and this is kind of like crazy, is a man that shortened up a little bit. His head is in her neck, his shoulders and his chest is in hers. I can see his rump and his legs are going down hers. All I get to see of him is most of his spine and his back. He is submerging himself into her. And of course, that there's a much more broader statement to this. She's very, very successful. Uh, Company, big wig, just on and on and on. So Karen calls him back screaming at the phone. Oh my God, she showed up in a man's suit and a haircut that was a butch. She says, I have such aggressive tendencies and I'm very strong. And she had a lot to talk about, but it was
Mhm.
because the attachment was becoming a possession. She was morphing from who she was into what he wants to do as to live his life again. Very difficult case. And I'm not saying the name because I haven't got permission. And Karen
Mhm.
is on a business trip. She's coming back today, but I couldn't get hold of her. Um, Now, I'll kind of word it in different ways. People who are mentally ill or insane, the acceptance and unconscious willingness to project their religious belief of demons and have that deity as their outlet focus of their mental illness. Trying to tell you a little different way of saying, uh, across all parts of the world, we have all these different religious groups, and you can have a trust in your deity and want to become that deity or somebody part of that deity. And what you do is people who go insane will pick somebody they want to emulate. And so you can have someone that can go insane. What happens when they die? Got it?
Mhm.
So if you can't bring someone back, and then everybody's thinking, "Oh my God, I had Uncle Joe that went clink, 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 and he died. Is he going around clink, clinking everybody else?" I hope not, but a lot of times they don't recover. It takes centuries sometimes. Do they disrupt people's lives? Well, that's what we're talking about, is that we have to help you create a balance and happiness in your life and acceptance of who you are, even if you hate it, and say, this is my choice to be here. I'm going to live this life the best I can and find little gems every day of happiness. Shar and I have kissed that Blarney Stone so many times, our cat of 9 lives. And someone said, oh, you're how old? You just had a birthday? I says, I am so grateful to be my age. I never, ever dreamed I'd be this old. That's why I changed careers. I left a 24-year career at Pacific Bell Management to do this. I tell people, they almost laugh at me. And you know why? Because I was desperate to be happy. I became happy. Um, and so a lot of times people will change jobs until they find that happy. I just changed once. I couldn't believe it. 33 years as of May 4th. So I want to go a little further. Now, the spirit of a human who was mentally ill and wanted to be a deity or have super mental or physical powers can also attach themselves to an outwardly mentally healthy individual. Sometimes that can influence you. And that's where we have people say, you know, we need to do intervention. This person's gone off the rocker. This person is doing things they shouldn't. You know, I've never known that guy to steal a car. I've never known anybody to be so full of themselves. They think they can convince us, da-da, on and on and on. We need to pay attention. It's not always dementia for the older people, everybody. It's like I counsel people whose spouses are going loony toony, and it's not necessarily possession. But outwardly, people who have known of family members who are completely off, you got to look at the level of what we call sanity. You need to talk to the person and say, are you happy in your life? What are you doing? Become invested intellectually with that person and see what they tell you. And it's like you have to decide if you're strong enough to help that person become the person they've always meant to be. And by changing their vibration, that will dislodge an attachment. A spirit cannot stay where they're not invited. And how we live our life, and if you're happy or not. And happy is not la 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 la. Happy is I'm content with as a person in this world today. I'm grateful to be alive. No, I'm not. I don't have a lot of money. I pay my money for these wall dividers, but I'm happy. And the reason is I feel that when you are a service, you help other human beings survive their life. It makes you happier. So I often tell people, donate time, go to the homeless shelter, go to a shelter for animals, help your neighbor, just doing little things like that. I have a gentleman who lives next door, and he's had a rough life. And his mother lost her eyesight, and he's been taking care of her. And the neighborhood found out that he's handy. Oh my gosh, this man has blossomed into the man he's always meant to be. 56, I think he is. And he's had a rough life. He was admitting to me one day, it's been really rough. And I says, you love your life now? And he says, absolutely. People need me, and I'm valuable. So find a way to make these people that you see not quite right, make them feel valuable to the family, make them see their worth. Sometimes that's all it takes. Okay. I may repeat myself. If you think of this deceased individual now as a spirit who so wished to be this deity, I did talk about this. They become a spirit person, and they lose their life as they had it. They don't see themselves human, but when they were insane, they didn't see themselves as human either. They see themselves as grander, and that's really hard to comprehend, especially when they do criminal activity. Karen and I had a long talk one day when we approach this in the book. How are we going to say, a lot of times people say, you know, the person was never violent before. And all of a sudden they killed these people. What was that about? What happened? What made them go broke? We don't know what makes people emotionally unhealthy. You cannot prove it in court. We cannot say that every incident is a spirit possession or takeover. We cannot go there. But in my world, if I see somebody, and I do believe the universe says, Nancy can deal with this person, but not that one. The ones who don't call me and I never find out, then I would not want to talk to them anyway because I'll put it right in your face. And a lot of people can't handle the truth. I had one lady say, "You scare me." I go, "Me? You're kidding. I'm the most gentle person in the world. So, as far as I can be." And so, vibration is very important. You resonate. People say to me, someone told me about you and I just felt like I had to call you. That's because we resonate at a level that allows our communication to be strong. See what I'm talking about? So those who lose that vibration and get to a lower, those are the ones that are open up for these kind of issues. And those that get too low had an attachment of a spirit that was insane or who was a criminal or was a murderer or someone that was insane in that way, um, who mentally broke down. Not everybody has an attachment. How do we discern the difference? How do we know? If I could color our spirits and say, "Oh, there's something attached because it's not the same color as what you already have on you," it would be amazing. Um, I almost can't stand it sometimes. An insane person, I'm trying to follow my notes, everybody. Insane person who was Passover that was violent while alive and chose suicide or execution, someone they put him to death, is angry at the world, and those still living will inflict as much, wait a minute, and the world, and those in his world. So a spirit man goes into, or woman goes into spirit, angry. He killed himself, suicide because of that anger, couldn't stand it, or was executed. Those people have a lot of mental issues, and they will seek out the living to inflict damage because they are angry. Um, and and those actions can domino. We have to be careful to watch our people and allow that not to happen because their vibration had to be low enough. Depression, bad jobs, family issues can bring that down where these insane people can move in and that pattern can be repeated. I've also often wondered, I would probably go Looney Tunes if I went into a prison. If I turned the switch on so I could see attachments, what would I do? How could I deal with that, especially in that environment? And I do believe that's possible. And I also believe that spirits will jump from one person to another. And I did try to find some clips today, and for some reason, I couldn't find the ones that I was thinking of. And one of them is at dusk. It's another country um, where people have the cameras on everywhere. And this guy's coming down the hill, and you can see an entity jump from him to a man that's walking toward his car. And the one that's left, he goes like this. And the one that's walking towards his car underneath a light on a pole,
Mm-hmm.
he is jumped in. This guy jumped into it, and you can see him go the other way. I, I've seen that. I've seen that. That's amazing to me. Um, we are so overtaken by what we cannot see and the influences in our universe all the time. It actually astounds me. I'm a social person for the first 15 years before I got married, and Larry wanted to move to Arizona, and I went, "Oh, what an adventure." Remember, people who have had cancer, and I had stage 3 plus. I was very close to the number 4. We want adventure. We want to have change because that's who we are. Oh, I need that. I need a change. And lose my trend of thought, everybody. Isn't that awful? Um, well, let me get this back again. What was I saying, Shard? You know, possible court.
Jumping in
I
and out
find
of
it
bodies.
jumping in and out of bodies. So I have seen that when I was in California before I went to Arizona. And what I was meant to say to that is I love being social. I entertained a lot and a lot of crowds every weekend. I was East West Bookstore. I was at a psychic fair. I was at a Spirit of Grace on the weekends. I was busy, busy. But I believe it wore me down. And so when I had a chance to move to Arizona, I went, I need a break, you know, because it gets tiring. And uh, now that I'm out of that, people like me like quiet, and we like not having a bunch of people around us because we
Mm-hmm.
keep all our life force to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love people, but there's a penalty to pay because people who are needy or in distress, have you heard the word psychic vampire?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that also can have attachments because their energy level is so low. The vibration is very attractive to spirits who are looking for the same. People like me have a lot of energy. I was an athlete almost all my life. So I have like a bubble of like this all the time. And so people like to be around me. I've had people say to me, "Oh, I feel so good after talking to you. I could talk to you for 4 or 5 hours." I've had it all the time. And one young lady in the valley, she just recently connected with me, charming, charming. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I don't have enough time in my life to spend a whole afternoon talking about everything I do. It just can't happen." So it's because of the life force I generate. And I tell people, if you get into this, become exercise more, because our energy is generated by muscle masses. So now I like quiet, um, more isolated environment. Um, we may not be able, um, we may not be able to talk to this spirit attachment
Hmm.
into a healthy state of passing to pass over. We immediately need to stop the seance or trance and postpone to another day. So I'm talking about, I went over, I forgot a paragraph here. If you have a chance to be in a seance or a trance, and there is a unhealthy spirit in there, you will know it. And I tell people immediately stop it. If you feel the vibration of the room shift to a dark sense of itself, you
Hmm.
don't want to be part of it, because what that means is unknowingly the medium being of a bunch of a larger field of energy, an unhealthy spirit. Oh, look at there. I'm going to get some dinner. Hey, yeah, let's go in there. If it's an unhealthy or insane spirit and that is felt in the room, you got to stop and break it, because the spirit will say, oh, wait a minute. It's not so easy now. So they'll move into another, go down the street somewhere else. And I did trances and seances early, but I don't find them as easy on me anymore, because a lot of times spirits will step into me, and I don't particularly like transfigurations. Everybody
Hmm.
else does. They think, "Oh, Nancy, we can see somebody else." Well, they're using me to be able to be projected, and I like control of my own person. Thank you very much. The insane person will move on, because being insane and no one to attach to, they'll move out to seek someone else to inhabit elsewhere. And my last sentence here, we've had a lot of fun with this, and I've done it in 45 minutes. I'd like to have next show will be how not to have these situations happen to you. Now, you know what I'll be talking about is clarifying who you are as a human being, your vibration, how to change your vibration, and what does it mean to be happy. There's a lot of us that work jobs, 24 years Pacific Bell, and I did like my position. I did like the ego. I did like the money, but it was not a heartfelt, soul felt type of work. Only this has been. In service to others has been fulfilling soul wise. And sometimes we have to figure out, and I love people talk to me, you may have a job you don't particularly like, but is there a way you could be of service to the people who are there so that you get um, the happiness you desire? You don't always have to change jobs. But when I was sick with cancer at 39, I got divorced at 40. I changed my life in 2 years after that. Quit the telephone company, got into this, and then quit the telephone company. 24 years. That's a long time, everybody. Okay, so we did it. I did it.
We did.
Yay.
We did. We did.
Talked quick. A lot of
So
topic. Lot.
yes, that was awesome. That was awesome stuff.
Well, I think I gave you enough to research. I gave you terminology maybe you need to look at.
Right.
Curiosity. It's such a big topic. I could talk about one thing at a time, but what we want to do is an overview to introduce new thought to you. And I hope I did that for you tonight, everybody. Okay.
Just remember
All
that
right.
movie's free on Freevee. So if you have a Roku, you can watch it for free. Okay. Monday.
Freebie. Free.
It's a free.
Spell it.
Free V Freevee TV.
Free V. I'm
Freevee.
going to go
Yeah,
look for. Okay.
via Roku. All right. As usual, Sunday is going to be Reign No Evil. That book's getting really good right now. I'm getting a good response from Facebook and TikTok people on that. I mean, it's starting to really, kick in. Uh, just for the people on the Patreon, I figured out what happened with the last video, which is why it aired on public last night. It was I don't know, something went wrong with the VidCon, did something to it or something, but it ended up out of normal video formatting. and it shouldn't have happened, but it did. So I don't know what was going on. Unfortunately, I had a backup. Next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to be releasing another video on the Patreon, and it is going to be the Tinkerbell video. So you guys will get to watch that a week to 2 weeks ahead of everybody else, and get to know Gina Rock, the longest tenured Tinkerbell. So I'm going to be releasing that video. I'm going to be working on it this weekend. Now, again, we talked about Sunday being Rain No Evil. Monday, we have a return guest. His name is David Oates. And David Oates specializes in reverse speech analysis.
Oh,
But he's
fun.
got a new bunch of stuff that he's doing, and he has studied the Apollo moon landings. And he has done reverse speech analysis on the astronauts. And some
Yeah.
of the results of this are pretty eye-opening, and one that I know of for sure was that they did come in contact with aliens, and I see a cat back there. They did come in contact with aliens while they were on the moon. Because when they reversed the speech, they comment about it.
I
So
love that stuff.
It's going to be a fun day to
Love
talk
it.
with David Oates. So that'll be 6:30 p.m. on Monday. Now, I am going to be teaching the second part of the protection class. I'm going to set up a date for that for everybody. I want to go ahead and announce that. And I also have a makeup class I have to do for Susan and somebody else from way back when I wasn't feeling well. So we're going to get that taken care of and scheduled as well. So I haven't forgotten about anybody that that I owe classes to or anything like that. It's just been a wild life. What a lot of people don't realize is how much work this is, and the fact that I lose track of time. I mean, like, somebody will say, okay, can you do this? Or call somebody, I'll be, okay, fine. Next thing I know, it's 4 months later. Because that's
Yeah.
just how busy I get with it. It's an old deal. Like that video, for example, was supposed to be done by 3 o'clock and have everything uploaded. I worked 12 hours that day. Just trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with it. So that's how it is. Okay. You see that thing down at the bottom, and this is just, something we do. Where California Haunts is a nonprofit. And so if you could help me out a little bit, I don't want to do this all the time with the shows, but if you could help me out a little bit, donate a little bit to help us pay the bills and keep the lights on, as they say, that would be great. I would appreciate it. Also, if you like the show, and like we talked about earlier, if you like the show and you haven't done so already, share it with people you know. Share it with 5 people. If everybody shared this show with 5 people, and those 5 people liked it and shared the show with 5 people, the word would really be spreading. And it is. And every month, the numbers show that it is working. But we got to keep that up. There's no point stopping that. So that's why I have decided to put a goal on within this week to next week to have 700 subscriptions on YouTube. Because we're getting
Yeah,
close. We're getting close to
that'd
that
be
1,000
fabulous.
mark. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm getting really excited about that. So I'll be making some more announcements over YouTube on the community page. And there's going to be a lot coming up. And there's a lot of plans out. Karen Clark and I are currently working on putting together a show for TikTok that we can do. And so we're going to be working on that. And I'm going to try and integrate some Facebook stuff too with that, just like I do when I read the book, to see if we can't integrate it all. I'm trying to work the details. Otherwise, we're going to have a couple shows that we're doing on TikTok. One will definitely be readings, and the other ones we're going to be telling different ghost stories and experiences that we've had and other people have had. And I'm even going to start critiquing videos of people that turn videos in and saying that they filmed a ghost. I'm going to start taking a look at those and critiquing those as well.
I love those.
And
Yeah.
some dual stuff, yeah. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So everything is slowly but surely coming together, And we're going to get the website back up here towards the end of the month. So busy. And there is a ghost hunt we're trying to schedule. The client, her husband is ill, so she's trying to work around that, and that's the delay with that. So we're going to have 2 ghost hunts in the same city. So that's coming
Ooh.
up. So for the team members,
Auburn?
just bear that in mind. Auburn, yeah. And for those of you listening, this is a cool opportunity because remember a year or so ago I took you guys out to a cemetery to learn how to use the equipment and all that ghost hunt stuff. Well, that was just a fun one, right? To get your hands on. This time when we do this residential, I'm going to take 3 people on each case with me that aren't on the team for training because we are looking for team members right now also. So for $50, I'll take you out there with me, and you can learn hands-on at a residential investigation how we do things and how to use the equipment. So that's the new twist on it. So I'm going to try and set up a date for that. But like I said, it's kind of slow because of what's going on. So just bear with me, and things are coming together. It's coming together. It's summer, and it's coming together. Okay. Now, without further ado, Nancy, you have any
What?
parting words of wisdom?
I've had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you,
I do
everybody,
too. I
for
do too.
showing up. Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah. Yes. And be
And
sure to
next week,
visit us. Yes, next week. And next week, what do you want to talk about next week? Throw that out
we're
there.
going to talk about how not to become a spirit that's insane,
There
how
you go.
not to attach to other people.
There you
Though
go.
I have a best friend in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and we both decided when we pass over, who will we haunt? But we're not going to be insane. We're not going to, don't go into spirit. I have to point out, all of this is so entertaining. And you're talking about, oh, this and that, spirit investigations. How many really stopped and thought, well, we're talking of my life also. There is no
Hmm.
death. It's
Yeah.
so interesting to think how it's so unfortunate because I want to spread the word that it's amazing to me. I say it word too often, but it is. It's just like, wow, how old am I? Oh, I love that I lived this long.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, I'm not meant to go yet. And the
Hmm.
word that we do survive is the ultimate gift. And now
That is.
let's know that. And now let's pass from this life to that one emotionally healthy so you can take advantage and have the fun that I've seen other spirits have.
I
That
want to
is
be
an
a
amazing
poltergeist. I
statement.
want to drive people nuts with moving objects. That's my thing. That's my thing.
Well, Karen
Rocks
and
on
I have
walls.
talked about who we're going to haunt first. Where's those wind chimes?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just do a
I'm
noise.
sorry.
People stop to people. Just like my dad, he would give me these Christmas gifts, and his worst nightmare was that he had to A, put them together, and B, that they would make noise.
Yeah.
So there's my goal in the afterlife. I want to do the Christmas gifts that make noise, just to annoy people. Become
Right?
a burden to my family
In the middle of the night, have.
in the middle of the night, especially when they got to get up
Yeah.
early.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
so
Okay.
visit us at youtube.com/California Haunts Radio, and you will see that we have more than 600 videos. Oh, that's something else I got to talk about today. More than 600 videos
Uh
over
oh.
there. I put them in categories so you guys can find them easier. Now, what I forgot to mention was Wednesday was our 200th show for
It
this
will be
season.
our 200.
No, it was. We passed it
Oh,
very
last.
quietly this year. But that was our 200th show. We are right currently on our 202nd show for the season. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
For the year?
For the year.
Mhm.
It feels like it. But I mean, it's a fun show, so I enjoy it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it, obviously. So yeah, so I just wanted to mention that, and maybe Nancy and I can blow out candles next week or something. I don't know. But anyway, Sunday and Monday will be here before we know it. So I'll see you guys on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, or Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific with David Oates and all that good stuff. And just remember, go ahead and visit us at. You can find us here on Facebook, everywhere. Just type in California Haunts Paranormal. You
Sharon,
can also,
um,
yeah, you can also find me
Shar,
on,
we have a terrible.
huh?
You're frozen.
Oh,
Talk slower. It's really hard to understand. The connection is very, very poor.
you can also find
There
me
you
at,
are.
you can also find me on Instagram at Ghosty Gal, all lowercase. I'm looking for followers there. TikTok, we are California Haunts. Twitter, we are Cal Haunts, and I believe on Twitch we're Cal Haunts. I'm trying to remember all these things is insane. So you can check us out over there. And don't be afraid of TikTok. It's all good. It's all good. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.
Well, say
All right.
goodnight to all these lovely people in our room. There was quite a group tonight,
Yes, we've
including
got.
Western Australia.
Yeah, Kelly's here with us tonight. So Kelly's here.
It's fun,
Maurice is here. Jerry's
Kelly.
here.
Yeah,
Let's see, I'm on the line here.
Susan.
Susan's here. So we've had quite a bunch coming through. And for all of you that don't want to come in the chat room and you were listening, thank you for doing so. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to give you Nancy's info, and we're going to close it off tonight. It's Friday. Enjoy your kids. Enjoy your meal, or whatever it is you're going to do this weekend. I will see you all on Sunday. Okay, here we go. Who's got the button? Ah, too many bloody
Good night.
buttons in my life.
Good night, everybody. It's been fun.
There we go. And boom. Okay, websites. nancymatz.com. That's all lowercase. nancymatzauthor.com with the N, the M, and the A capitalized. youtube.com/nancymatzpsychic. The N, M, and P is capitalized. Book. Help get me out of this funk. Nancy Matz. Two Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills. Nancy Matz. And The Unwilling Sacrifice. Guess who? Nancy Matz. And of course, you can get those at Amazon. All right, once again, I will see you on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, for Reign No Evil. And I'm telling you, this book is starting to take off, and it's starting to do some really creepy stories coming out of that poor woman's life. Boy, it's just, I had nightmares the other night over it. Okay, so I'll see you, and have a great couple days.